Welcome back to Keyboarding Online, and today we're going to do a quick review and then move on to our next lesson. As I mentioned in my last video, we started with the home page and we looked specifically at introduction. If you didn't get a chance to finish going through all of the steps, I would recommend that you go back through those and make sure that you get to practice the home keys, the return keys, spacebar, and so on. So as you can see, I have done a little bit of typing, received 1 score, so I am on my way. So today we're going to go to our lessons menu and click on lesson number 1. Now if we take a look at lesson number 1, you can see that it is all about the home row. Here is our lessons menu. If you look all the way down, lessons 1 through 10 are going to be strictly alphabet keys and some punctuation. Then we get on to some more symbols, the A, B, C, D mastery lessons, where it gives you an opportunity to practice specific keys. And then on down to lesson 25, where we learn the number keys, and lastly some symbol keys. So we'll try to get through each of these lessons and you will be a pro by the time we're done. So in looking at lesson number 1, there are several lines to type, and we have 15 in lesson 1. So we're going to go through and type each of these lines in the order that they're presented and learn some new keys along the way. So when the keyboard pops up in color, it's showing us and giving us some reminders on the home row keys. Remember that the left hand covers ASDF, right hand covers JKLSEM. Now this is your home base, and that's where your fingers rest until they're ready to go to work. Now before we even strike the first key, check your posture. Make sure you're sitting up straight, feet flat in front of you. Think of your feet as anchors. They keep you in place, keep you from sliding in your chair. Your elbows should be comfortable at your side. Arms should be in about a 90-degree angle, as well as your legs should also be in a 90-degree angle. With that said, then we're going to place our hands in home position. Feel for F and J, the little raised bump. Make sure you're in the correct place, and then you can begin to type. Now if the cursor is in the box, it's flashing. We want to see what we're allowed to do on each line. On my copy it says 1 error is allowed, 6 words per minute typed, and 1 score. But yours will probably read a little bit different. When you're first learning the keys, it's good to get 2 practices on each line. And as always, when you begin to type, you're going to think each key as you strike. S space. K, 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 space. My thumb is working the space bar. A, S, K, space. S, 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 space. And that's all the time I had. That was a 15-second timing. I did get a good score, 18 words a minute with no errors. As I move along the line, it's just more practice for the home keys, more reminders. Click on line 4, left hand on ASDF, right hand on JKLSEM, and continue through each of the lines until you have successfully met your goal. Now as we move along, you'll notice that the time remaining is going to change. So on this timing, you do have 30 seconds of typing. So if you type, you're not finished when you hit the end of the line. You should return and continue. Repeat that line as many times as you can until the timer kicks you out. So for example, let's start. D, 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 space. D, A, space. D, A, D, space. Notice the timer is going backwards. D, L, L, space. J, A, space. J, A, space. L, S, S, space. L, S, S, space. L, A, S, space. L, A, S, space. A, D, D, return. D, 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 space. D, okay. So when the red box pops up, that means the time has run out. I did get a good score, 20 words a minute with no errors. Now remember, if you need to make that line of type bigger, go ahead and do so by dragging until it is a good size for you. But if it goes over to the next line, I would recommend putting it back to where it's on one line. Less confusion that way. So moving along, line 7, more practice. It reminds you in here to arms and wrists should be straight. Arms and wrists should be straight. And line 8, can you press the enter key and keep typing without looking? Yes, if your fingers are covered, that's going to help you. Line 9, line 10, all the way through until we get to our 1-minute timings. And here you can probably type this line several times before your time runs out. So 15-second timings are always easier. 30 seconds, a little bit more of a challenge. 1 minute is really going to be long at first, but you're building up and you're, like say, if you just take your time, think each key as you strike it, no rush. We're not worried about speed. We're worried about just striking the correct keys the first time and meeting your goals. So that is lesson 1. I will see you on the next lesson.